Dear class 10 students, we will continue chapter number 8, that is the circulatory system. Today in this session we will talk about blood, one of the circulating fluids. Okay, and let's get started. As you all know that blood is defined as a fluid connective tissue. It is a fluid connective tissue. Blood is a fluid connective tissue. Okay, so if you go through the composition, you find mainly two parts that compose the blood. They are plasma and cellular parts. Okay, plasma is the fluid part of the blood, which constitutes 55 to 60% of the blood. That means your 55 to 60% of the blood is composed of the fluid part called plasma. Okay, and remaining that is 40 to 45% of the blood you find being composed of the cellular parts. Okay, that means cells of the blood. As you all know that cells of the blood are RBC, okay, red blood cells, and these red blood cells are also known as erythrocytes. You got to know them by these alternative names also. Okay, that is your RBC to be erythrocytes. Similarly, WBC, okay, white blood cells, are also known as leukocytes. Then the third one is your platelets, which are also known as thrombocytes. All right, then now we'll talk about plasma first. Okay, then we go through the cellular parts one by one according to the syllabus. All right, then first let's talk about plasma. As you all know that plasma is a light yellow colored alkaline liquid which consists of, as given out here, water 90 to 92%. That means 90 to 92% of plasma is composed of water. Okay, similarly, proteins you find 7 to 8%. Then inorganic salts like sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate only 1%. Then other substances include amino acids, glucose, hormones, fibrinogen in traces. Traces means very less, okay, very less concentration, or in very less that quantity. So this is how your plasma you find being composed. Okay, and these are the components of plasma, which is the fluid part of the blood. Okay, so once we come to this word called plasma, there is another word related, that is serum. Serum is given there in the book. What is serum? Serum means the plasma itself from which that your protein called fibrinogen has been removed. That means your plasma itself where no fibrinogen is there. When fibrinogen has been removed from the plasma, that particular condition of the plasma is called serum. So it can be written like this. Okay. See, plasma minus fibrinogen equals your serum. Okay, serum. Okay, plasma itself where no fibrinogen is known as serum. Okay, that means serum is a part of plasma where no fibrinogen is there. What is fibrinogen? So fibrinogen is a protein that you find there in the composition of the plasma, which helps in the coagulation of the blood. Okay, clotting of the blood. Okay, so for that fibrinogen plays very important role. But when sometimes as per our need, sometimes what we can do is that, or what scientists can do is that, see, they can remove the fibrinogen from the plasma. In that condition, that particular condition of the plasma where no fibrinogen, then it is called serum. Please remember, this is a very important word given there, which is actually the plasma itself but no fibrinogen. Okay, so this is your serum. Cellular parts of the blood. These cellular parts of the blood include, as I've told you before, RBC, okay, which is also known as erythrocytes, okay, erythrocyte. Then second one is WBC, which is also known as leukocyte. And the third one is your platelets, which is also known as thrombocyte. Thrombocyte. Okay, so platelets, thrombocytes. So erythrocytes, leukocytes, and thrombocytes. Please do know them. Okay, do memorize these different types of cells of the blood by their alternative names also. Okay, now first we'll talk about RBC. RBC. Okay, red blood cells or erythrocytes, which are also known as the oxygen carrier. Okay, they're also known as the oxygen carriers. That means they are the ones in the blood which carry the oxygen. That's why they are also known as the oxygen carriers. Okay, structure. Let us talk about the structure of RBC. So RBCs are disc-shaped. Disc-shaped means, yeah, as you see there on in your book given out here. I want you all to see the book. I hope that you all are there with the book open. Please see the shape of the particular cell. Okay, disc-shaped. Okay, disc-shaped. Then they are very small. Okay, their size is very small. That is about 7 micron in diameter. Okay, 7 micron in diameter. Its diameter is only 7 micron. 7 micron means how much? Micron means 1 micron. 1 micron, which is written like this. 1 micron equals 1 upon 1000. 1 upon 1000 millimeter. Okay, that is called 1 micron equals 1000 millimeter. That is the diameter of this particular cell. Rather, we can say that this is the smallest cell in the body. Okay, so smallest cell in the world means your bacteria. They are the smallest ones. But as far as the body cells, is concerned, as far as the body cells are concerned, your RBCs are the smallest ones. Okay, so 7 micron in its diameter. All right. The small size of this RBC plus concavities on either sides provide the cell to be having the large surface area there for the absorption of oxygen. Okay, the more they absorb the oxygen, the more they can carry them to the needy tissues of the cells. Okay, that's the thing that you have to understand. Then what you also have to know about this RBC is that number. Okay, so in an adult male, the number of RBC is 5 million. Okay, 5 million per cubic millimeter of blood. Okay, in 1 cubic millimeter of blood, that is the volume of blood. In 1 cubic millimeter of, which is the volume of blood, okay, 1 cubic millimeter of blood, you find 5 million of RBC. In an adult male, 5 million of RBC are present in 1 cubic millimeter of blood. Okay, whereas in case of an adult female, you find 4.5 million of RBC per cubic millimeter of blood. Okay, then RBC contain a kind of pigment in it, which is called hemoglobin. It contains a pigment called hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin is the pigment present there in RBC, which is also called respiratory pigment. Respiratory pigment. Okay, it is also called respiratory pigment. It's also called respiratory pigment, which means this particular substance present there in the blood, or especially in RBC, is the one which carry respiratory gases. What are the respiratory gases out here? They are oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, oxygen and carbon dioxide. So actually this hemoglobin is the one which carry oxygen from the lungs to the cells, and from the cells after the respiration, carbon dioxide will be carried by the hemoglobin back to the lungs. So this is how it is sent out. Okay, and this hemoglobin is further composed of iron plus protein. Okay, iron plus protein. Okay, so that means hemoglobin is composed of iron and protein. So one thing we should remember out is that, because of the hemoglobin itself, the color of our blood is red. Okay, this hemoglobin, as I've told you, also known as the respiratory gases because it carries oxygen, which we discussed in the last live session also, or in the last video also it was discussed that, what it does is that, once we take the air in, okay, once we breathe in, then from the air oxygen will be picked up by hemoglobin, then it becomes oxyhemoglobin. Okay, the compound is formed out there is oxyhemoglobin. So in the form of oxyhemoglobin, this oxygen will be reaching the cells where respiration takes place, and after respiration, when carbon dioxide is formed, then carbon dioxide there in the cell again will be picked up by the hemoglobin. Then it becomes a compound called carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, carbaminohemoglobin. Then in the form of carbaminohemoglobin only, this carbon dioxide will be brought back to the lungs, and from lungs it is sent out. Okay, this is how this hemoglobin plays a very important role in carrying the respiratory gases. Okay, beside this hemoglobin has very strong relationship with carbon monoxide also. Okay, carbon monoxide also. That's why sometimes we come across the news that, that people somewhere die because of the carbon monoxide poisoning. So how it happens is that usually during winter season, when the people, remain inside the closed room without ventilation, and, take the heat from the burning charcoals or coals, so that way what may happen is that carbon monoxide coming out of the burning coal, the charcoals, goes inside and combine with your hemoglobin. Okay, then forms your carboxyhemoglobin. A compound forms there, a carbon monoxide. I mean carboxyhemoglobin, which cuts down the capacity of the blood to carry the oxygen. That's why people will die for want of oxygen, and that particular condition is called carbon monoxide poisoning. Sometimes it happens like that. Okay, so this is all about, that the structure of RBC. Now we'll talk about the life and death. Okay, lifespan and the death. I mean life and death of RBC also. Okay. So let's see life. So lifespan, okay, life and death. So life and death, you see. So your RBC, let's begin with the formation. Okay, so your RBC actually is formed there in the bone marrow. Okay, in an adult. So it is mainly formed there in the bone marrow of the long bones. Okay, but in an embryo, when a baby is developing or growing in the form of fetus, so that time it is formed in the liver and also in the spleen. Okay, and up to the age of 5, okay, up to the age of 5, the RBCs are formed in the bone marrow of all the bones. Bone marrow of what? All the bones. That you have to remember. But when you are an adult, then it is formed, or this particular, RBCs are formed only in the bone marrows of long bone only. Okay, that you have to remember. Then the lifespan is only 120 days. Okay, so that means your RBC survives for 120 days. When it is old and weak, so they will be dying in the liver and spleen. Okay, they will be destroyed in the liver and spleen. So these are the organs where they die after attaining the age of 120 days. The RBCs and all those weak ones will be taken to the liver and spleen where they are destroyed. Okay, so when they are destroyed, as you all know that they contain iron also. So this iron content of RBCs is retained by the body, and rest of the thing of RBCs will be uh, will be excreted during the liver or spleen in the form of waste called bilirubin. So this is how it happens there. Okay, then this is all about that your RBC. Okay, and rest of the blood cells like WBC and that your platelets will be discussed in the next session. Okay, so today we'll do only this much. Thank you very much.